to another edition of Running Through the A. I'm excited about this one. We got our first non-athlete, and no one more deserving than Cody Yancey, the hot dog man. That's
indeed.
Dickson Street legend.
Dickson Street legend. There we go. All right, so Yancey, I guess I'm gonna call you Yancey if that's cool, because that's what everybody knows you by.
Yeah, that's what I'm most known as down there. That's totally fine.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. Where are you from? Northwest Arkansas? Is that right?
I lived here my whole life. Born and raised in Rogers, Arkansas. So 17 years there, and then came down to Fayetteville to go to college.
You graduated from Arkansas, right?
I did, yeah. So I was kind of split. So I was National Guard. So I had a deployment in the middle of college. So I did like 2 years, gone for a couple of years, came back and did 2 more. So I graduated 2010 from the university.
How was that bouncing back and forth?
On the surface, I would say like not ideal, but honestly, it's kind of exactly what I needed, I think. Like if I look at my first 2 years of college and then my last 2 years, they were vastly different. So I think a lot of kids, myself very much included, college is a lot at the beginning and your focuses aren't in the right place. So, I wouldn't have chosen to have to step out like that, but since I did, I was a lot more mature and a lot more focused when I got back and got a lot more out of my last 2 years.
Yeah.
Where'd you go your first 2 years?
No, so I was at the University of Arkansas the whole time, but so coming right out of high school in 2003, I joined the Army National Guard. So went to boot camp the summer after high school and then started college spring semester 2004 at the University of Arkansas. Right. And I did I guess I was in my 4th semester when I got notification of deployment and got pulled out of the 4th semester and deployed that summer of 2006. And we're gone for like 18 months and then came back fall of 2007 and started back going to school again. I guess that would be spring of 2008. And then graduated in 2010.
So you graduated my first year.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were, I guess, classmates, maybe.
We had some major ups and downs. You, I guess, coming in at that time, experienced some pretty good sports, some pretty good football, and then you got to experience the massive decline and now the rebuild. So
the downhill spiral.
That was the craziest. So the whole Bobby Petrino thing happened my freshman year.
Yeah. And
then I was actually super excited about John L. Smith, and what a whirlwind of emotions. Those first 2 years that was a wild time to be a student for sure.
It was indeed, yeah.
All right, so did you know that you always wanted to live here in Northwest Arkansas, or?
I guess to be honest, I hadn't given much thought to it. I didn't grow up with much. We were pretty stretched financially. My dad raised us, my brother and I, as a single father. And, I think thinking about living other places is just something that wasn't really on my plate at the time. So I had never really thought much about that. After I started getting older, got out of the house, joined the Army, started going to school, and some more doors started to open to me. I started to realize that I did like it here. For my passions and my hobbies, it's just you can't beat Northwest Arkansas for the hiking and the lake days and the river days and the college town. I mean, it's everything that I want for sure.
So I'm actually from South Carolina, believe it or not, or not from there, but I live there now. I'm in Fayetteville now, so I might come see you tonight. But are you going to be out there?
I will indeed. Yeah, I've been getting ready all day.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get back here so bad. I love it here. This is my favorite city and all that. You know how it is. So what brought up the idea of selling hot dogs? And do you sell more stuff than just hot dogs, or is it hot dogs?
I started the hot dog stand in 2008, and I tried for a while to sell more things. So I started with the exact same menu I have now, just an all beef hot dog and a smoked sausage. And then I expanded to a pulled pork sandwich, cheddar bratwurst, stadium style nachos, a variety of things like that, Frito pie. And at the end of the day, it was just a lot more work. It slowed me down. And people would buy those things, but I found out that people would just buy a hot dog too, So I ended up shrinking the menu back down to the basics. And, you see me out there on the carts and you see the red and yellow umbrella and the New York style hot dog cart, and that's a hot dog stand. So most people that walk over to that are asking for a hot dog. They don't expect anything else.
Yeah. So you started this when you came back for school, right? In 2008. So you were a full-time college student and also doing this on the side. Were you still doing it like at night on Dickson on the weekends or what?
Yeah, that was the whole idea. So, like you said, came back from deployment, had a little money saved up, and I was visiting my brother. He was going to school out in North Carolina, and it was a similar feel to Fayetteville. It was Raleigh, and some colleges nearby, and we were in the downtown district. And he was working at one of the bars as the door guy, and so I just hung out with him all night. And then he gave me some of the tip money at the end of the night to go get some food from the hot dog stand. So exact same setup as what I'm doing now. Late night, college town. So when I walked over to the hot dog stand in Raleigh at 2 or 3 a.m., it was just a line out to the street. And that's kind of when I had the idea. It didn't like hit me like a train where I was like, oh, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. But I just thought it was cool. And then as I kind of thought more about it, as I traveled home and after trying to think what I was going to do after I got back, I was like, that was pretty cool. Like maybe I could do something like that here. So that was for sure like when and where I got the idea.
It was the perfect town for it too.
Yeah, it's insane that nobody did it before me. So when I thought about it, I was like, it's just crazy that there's so many people on Dickson Street and they have to get food every night. Because when I started 2008, there was, if I remember correctly, only 2 late night food options. It was Jimmy John's, which doesn't even do late night anymore, and Gino's Pizza by the Slice. You might remember Gino's. It was near Jimmy John's, across from George's.
I do. I know exactly. Yeah, it was good too.
Yeah, it was decent pizza, good price. They did a $1 slice night. But aside from those two, everybody would just leave and go to like a place called Casa Taco or McDonald's or Taco Bell, and there were 24-hour or late night options. And it was just insane to me that people had to leave Dickson to go get food. So it made sense to just put it where they were.
Smart. Oh. Using your brain, I like it.
Sydney, to answer the end of your question, you're right. So I started that, and then I guess I started that New Year's Eve 2008 going into 2009, and then I resumed college like 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? No, that's not right. No, I would have already started because I got back from deployment 07. So I started January 2008 going to school, and then I started that December of 2008. So that's right. Yeah, a year in of school after my deployment, and then started that. So yeah, full-time student, information systems degree is what I was going for, and started that. It wasn't as much as I do it now. The idea was to get something going that would give me a little bit of money on the side that would be flexible so I could focus on school. And I did. I really focused a lot just on school for a couple of years there until I graduated. And that's when I was like, okay, now I can put some focus on this new business and see if it's viable or if this was just a fun thing to do for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, do you drink at all while you're out there? I guess not out there, but so you see all these people that are overserved. Is that just a huge turnoff for you from the whole drinking scene and all that?
So I never have. I say
never
that's myself. I've never had a drink of alcohol.
Wow.
Never tasted a beer, never had a shot, none of that. Obviously I work in that environment, so I'm not against it, but I don't know. It's just never something that appealed to me. I think I always was kind of like almost the DD in the friend group. Like even back in high school and stuff, like not necessarily always the kind of the caretaker of the group. And I kind of enjoyed that role, I guess, more than, the blackout drunk occasionally or whatever.
Yeah.
How long do the lines get?
I'm working on that. It gets I hate to say bad, because it's my business, but it gets out of control. And that's why I opened the application. I'm trying to do something about that line, but there's times just on a normal weekend where the line at the carts, I have no idea how many people, because the line, it's not like a nice kindergartner, like straight single file line.
No, of course not.
We start getting busy, it starts to balloon out. You got people 3 or 4 wide, and then it's also probably, if I was going to 20 or 30 deep, and then that's on 2 carts. So we're talking, I mean, maybe over 100 people for an hour or 2 waiting for food.
That's
Are you
crazy.
thinking about opening another cart?
I don't know. I thought that's what I just did, and I thought that would help me out. But I'm a month in, and it hasn't really reduced demand by much. Now it's just I have 2 spots that are that busy. So
Yeah,
which-
so
Yeah, that's a good problem to have, though.
yeah.
how
I
was
just
that move over to
It's been
Yeehaw?
Yeah, so I'm still doing my 2 carts in front of the train bank and a mobile station in between them. So we have on busy nights 3 workers down there that can serve 3 separate lines. So that's doing as much as we can do down there. And then we open the new container, and I'm staffing that with 2 people inside. Usually one of which to serve the people walking by off the sidewalk on Dickson, and one to serve the patio of Yeehog.
Okay.
And pretty much all of us, you know, if we run 5 in a night, then we're pretty much for most of the night making hot dogs nonstop, 5 workers. So I'm trying to get it to where people aren't having to wait so long. You know, like I feel bad. Like all these people have really supported me the past couple of years and are trying to buy food for my business, and they're having to wait like 15, 20, 30 minutes sometimes. And that's just nuts to wait for a hot dog. So I'm working on it. Hopefully everybody sees that I'm trying to handle it.
Yeah.
Has the police ever said anything to you about how we got to control the traffic over here or anything like that?
No, because you know I just don't have any issues over there for the most part. You know,
Right.
there's
It's a safe place. Literally, it's a safe place.
yeah, and I'm, you know, like if you've been there very often, like my regular customers will notice, like I'm focused on making the food and I'm interacting with them a little bit, but I'm listening to the whole line. And probably once or twice a weekend, you'll see me kind of step out from the cart and step into the line and kind of simmer something down. And that's my whole goal, is to like prevent it before it explodes into this big thing. So like in the middle of, okay, what would you like on your hot dog? I'm also hearing this group bickering or something, saying, you know, just the nonsense that you hear at the end of the night.
Right.
And that's boiling. So I make another couple hot dogs and it's getting worse. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to say something and let them know like that's not acceptable in this area, and kind of squash it, and then go back to making hot dogs again.
That's a good way to put it. That's not accessible in this area. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, no real issues as far as the police. You know, they'll kind of stroll by and say, "Hey, you good over here?" Like when the crowd's really big, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I think I am. Let me know if I'm not."
You tell me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So being down there, this is a random question, but did you see Baker Mayfield get arrested when that happened?
Yes, I was thinking.
You
We might
did?
talk. I was like,
We were talking about that. We figured you did.
yeah, how can we connect sports with what I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I didn't know it was him while it was happening. I wish I did. I would have like watched it differently, you know. But I
Right.
for having a few customers in line, and then I hear some commotion, and I look over, and I guess most of it started like where the food trucks used to be, and like the patio area.
Mhm.
And once I couldn't see over there, once it spilled out onto the street, then I could kind of see the commotion. And then, you know, the police arrived, and then he was over on the sidewalk in front of the Walton Arts Center, and that's when I could really see what was happening. And I remember telling my customer, I was like, "Oh, somebody's getting in trouble over there." And so, like me and the customer look, and then that's when he tries to run and gets tackled, and we're like, "Oh no! Like why did you do that?" And then afterwards, I still didn't think much of it, but this is back when taxis were around. A taxi driver came over and he's like, "Yo, did you know who that was?" I said, "No." He's like, "That was Baker Mayfield." Like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
It was going to be a big story.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
Was that one of the like better arrests you've seen? I'm sure you've seen so much stuff down there, but was that one of the like wilder ones? I guess.
For sure, high profile, but you know, watching it not knowing that it was him, I didn't think it was anything special, because it was just somebody kind of tried to take a few steps away from the cops. They tackled him. He didn't resist. They stood him up. It was like a very simple thing. You know, I see a lot of, well, back then I used to see a lot of people getting tased and a lot more fighting with the police officers. And I think body cameras and stuff have minimized a lot of that. So I don't really see people get tased anymore, but Still a good amount of people like running from the cops and kind of fighting with the cops a little bit, like
normal stuff down there.
yeah.
So, all right. So I read that Dickson, the bars close at 2, and you're there. What time do you leave Dickson Street on a normal Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Like, does it all depend?
It does, yeah, because I will stay, and my guys are aware. Like we're kind of officially open until 3, but usually the bar staff is coming over a little after 3 to eat.
Think about that. That's smart.
So bartenders, security guards, and that's kind of when we get to relax and have some fun. And still making hot dogs, but like from 3 to 3:30 is usually kind of Dickson Street staff. So then we usually, if we hang out a bit, start packing up at 4. If we're like trying to get out of there quick, 3:30, 3:45. So usually leaving Dickson around 4 to 4:30.
So how do you manage that during the day? Like, are you sleeping a lot during the day, kind of, or what do you have to do to prepare for that?
Yeah, that's the tough thing. The busier I've gotten, and now with the second location, like that requires a lot of hours off of Dickson from me. Like I have to wash everything that gets used, and I have to prep more food and all this. So I try to sleep. I try to get to sleep by like 6, and then I sleep to noon usually. So 6 to noon is kind of my sleep schedule for those 3 days. And then, I've got a wife and kids and stuff, and I don't want to be like on that weird schedule all the time. So usually Sunday I try to go to bed, at a normal time after Sunday night football or something, and then, get on a normal schedule for 4 days. So, I mean, that's been for 14 years. It's been like 3 days late night, 4 days normal, and just back and forth.
So I want to get into the post you do on Instagram every year that goes viral. For those who don't know, Yancey makes a post pretty much saying that he's here to. Well, you explain it. I think that would be better if it came from you.
Yeah, I think the best way to say it is that I offer my space as a safe place for people to come. And then some people infer some things from that isn't necessarily true. I had somebody ask me last weekend if I'm the guy that gives people rides home, and I'm like, no, like I don't ever put somebody in my vehicle. I will stay with somebody as long as I need to. I will help them charge their phone, call their friends. There was a girl, this is just one story of thousands. Last Saturday, probably 4 a.m. Me and my guys, there was like 5 of us and 1 security guard, are all standing in a circle, and a girl came over, and she was in town for a CrossFit match or competition or something from Mena, Arkansas. So she comes up here, she's staying at a hotel in Rogers. She was on Dickson with some friends, got separated from them. She lost her phone and couldn't find her car. So that sounds kind of crazy. Like, who's going to end up in that situation? But when you have thousands of people every night and you just run the statistics, like the odds are you're going to have 1 or 2 people in a similar situation every night, probably.
Right.
So that's kind of what I offer is if you end up in a spot like that and you don't know what to do, like we'll find a way to help you.
Yeah.
So for that particular person, we tried to walk her to 2 of the parking garages. She couldn't find her car in either one. She just didn't know where it was. Remembered parking in a deck. She had a credit card on her and just didn't have her phone to request an Uber. So, I run a business. I can accept credit cards. So I request an Uber on my phone. I send her to Rogers for like $55. She pays me $55. I'm not out any money. I'm just there to help, facilitate that couldn't have occurred, had somebody like me not been there.
What made you want to post that though? You just wanted for all the incoming freshmen to know that you're here and you're there for them and whatever you can do, kind of thing?
Yeah, man. It's something I could talk about for like an hour. It's something because it just like happened organically with me, and it's not some big marketing stunt that I'm trying to do or something. And it's something that I'm just really proud of because it's just something that I gradually became passionate about, and I'm in the right place, and I realize that there's a need for it. So it's like it's all the right reasons for me. So I've been doing it 14 years. In my mind, the biggest change to where people need help late night is the fact that taxis are no longer on Dickson. So now that we've switched to rideshare, Uber and Lyft and stuff, you have to have a functional phone. So if you get separated from your friends and your phone's dead, you can't get home. Whereas it used to be, you could stumble out of a bar at 2 or 3 in the morning, drunk as a skunk, and there's a line of taxis waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
That's
people,
smart. I didn't even think about it like that.
yeah. So after that kind of transition happened, I start seeing more people getting stuck late night on Dickson, and there's nobody there to help them. And around the same time, I'm getting a little older. I'm maturing. I'm starting a family. I have kids. And then usually at the beginning of the semester, I'm working a lot of move-in events for the student housing complexes around town. And I see all these families bringing their students up from Texas and dropping them off. And I see how hard it is on the moms and dads. So it's just kind of a combination of all those things. Like I use the word organically, where I'm seeing that I'm maturing, I'm becoming more of a father, and I see a need for it. So just little by little, I'm offering this help to people. And then one day I was like, you know what? It's not enough just to do it on Dickson. Like, I need to tell people about it. I need to tell people, you can come find me. You don't have to just hope that I happen to see you if you walk by me. Like, you can come find me. You can ask for help to charge your phone. You can ask to just hang out in my area if somebody's made you uncomfortable, or if you need to, maybe you've had 3 beers or 4 beers and you think, like, I could probably drive, but it'd be best if I had a hot dog, drank a bottle of water, and waited an hour.
Right.
Like,
So
there's
you're there?
a million different versions of what people can do if they come over. They don't have to buy any food from me, but I'm there for any of those.
And getting that out there on social media, students share it everywhere every year. So it really gets around all the freshmen and new people coming in.
Yeah, that's for sure the goal. I joke that I'm like more popular with the parents than I am with the students, because the moms like to see that and tell the kids about it.
Yeah.
But however it's getting around, I'm very appreciative that people share it, and I know people are appreciative of me being there and doing that. So yeah, that's like my baby. That's the way that I've found to make my job meaningful to myself. Because it's always been fun. It's like selling hot dogs on Dixon's going to be fun, but
Right.
that is your business and something that you plan on doing for a while to have meaning also, and that's kind of become my project.
Yeah.
That was another question. Do you plan on doing this for a while? Like, do you see it going? Are you kind of getting burnt out on it, or what's the future of it, would you say?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I could say a lot of things about it, but honestly, I don't know. There's years where I think I probably don't want to do this late night thing much longer. And then there's other years where I'm like, man, this has been a really good year. I could see myself doing this for a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I will say I'm definitely at a point right now where I'm grinding. I'm expanding. I'm focused on work. My kids are a little bit older. They're 5 and 7. They're not needing quite as much attention at home. It frees me up some. I feel like I'm in a really good place to keep doing this for a while.
Good.
A year ago, even if you would have asked me, I would have said, like, no, I'm real happy with my setup right now. Don't plan on changing anything. Don't know how much longer I'll do it. But right now, I plan on doing it a lot longer and hopefully expanding even more.
Well, Dickson Street needs it. So
Yeah.
I love it. I hope you're there forever.
Yeah, I think in some form or fashion, my business will be there. I don't know how much longer, I will continue to do late nights. I think I got another good 5 or 6 years in me. Maybe I'll get to 20 years and then maybe, pull myself away a little bit from the late nights.
So do you do anything else outside of hot dog? Do you do events? Is that what you were talking about, an event?
Yeah,
cool.
I normally do. I kind of put those on hold right now, focusing on the second location that I just opened and trying to get that all set up. And I just hired some new guys, so getting them trained and functional and fast. And so just really focusing on the late night right now. But yeah, normally I do events with my carts. So a lot of sorority, fraternity functions, sometimes food for like a wedding reception or a wedding reception or things like that. So yeah, I do some fun events, gets me off the nighttime grind.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool wedding thing. Yancey's gonna be there.
Yeah, I used to do them a year, and it's always a huge hit because it's like they wouldn't have me there if there wasn't some meaning to it.
Right.
So,
it's like nostalgia.
Yeah, they used to during college, and now they're getting married, and they have this nostalgic.
Met in the hot dog line, and now Yancey's gonna be there.
Yeah, It's a big flex when they do that, man. Like, especially if it's a secret, as soon as people find out, it's like, what? Yancey's here? Like,
Yeah. That was funny.
yeah.
That's great. Well, you answered all the questions I had. Sydney, can you think of anything?
I don't think so. I know that everyone appreciates you being down there every night or every night of the weekend and everything that you do for them. So
Yeah.
I'm going to come holler at you tonight for sure.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I think today's Thursday. I'm trying to get a routine where I'm kind of regularly on the carts or in the container. So I think Thursdays I'm going to be on the carts. So I'll probably be on one of the carts down there.
Do y'all sell shirts?
I do. Yep. I'll get you a t-shirt.
I'll be getting one. I'll be getting one for sure.
And
those are nice.
Okay. There you go. Everybody get a Yancey hat. There we go.
Love it.
All right, Yancey. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's good talking to you guys. I hope you come down tonight. Sydney, it's nice to meet you and good to talk to you.
Thank you. We'll probably see you weekend.
We'll do it. Appreciate y'all.
All right. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.